Green Bay Packers filing a formal request to have the Tush Push banned. Coaches and execs sounding off sense. Tuesday, Nick Sirianni took the opportunity to defend his short yardage answer.
We work so hard at that. I'm a little insulted that in the sense of it's like, well, it's just a gimme. Like, we work so hard at that play. We work so hard at that play. The people that we've met with to make that play go as coaches.
What do you mean? What do you mean the people that you
I don't want to get into that. I'm not going to give that information up. But you'll go to any lengths to improve a play. And, you know, we'll meet with anybody we need to meet with to get better at the fundamentals of that play. So coaches being able to coach it and the players going to be able to do it. You don't get to the creative ways that our coaches figure out how to drill that because, you know, you can't, it's hard to, you know, drill that and to practice that. But they found such creative ways to do that. Our guys, you know, really dove into the fundamentals it takes. And we have very talented players there with that. And then the compliments that come off of it, I think that's really, I think what's so exciting about that play also is that you're seeing it at every level of football. Right? You know, if I get on Twitter, which is very rare, or whatever it's called, and I see a high school team, it brings so much joy to me that a high school team's doing it. My son, in a football game this last year, scored on that play.
Really?
He scored on that play. He went in at quarterback. You know, he rotated with his buddy at quarterback. He went in and scored a touchdown on that. Like, I think that's awesome. Like, the Philadelphia Eagles are shaping the way football is being played. And then, like, just because somebody's good at something, we're talking about banning it. Like, you know, I think that's a little unfair, and again a little insulted by that in the sense of like, and we were high 80% in our success rate of it. There were times it didn't work well, and we had to go back to the drawing board of what we needed to do differently of it. And you got me going here on this now.
I love it.
And again, like, you saw it also play out in big games this year where a team didn't convert on that play, and it resulted in them not winning it. And so to say, hey, Team A or Team B is really good at this, let's ban that, I think that's crazy. Well, you know, A.J. Brown's really good at catching the deep ball. I don't think we're going to ban that. Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal quarterback. We can't ban all the things that he does so well.
Passes.
Jalen Hurts, phenomenal things yeah, exactly. Patrick Mahomes can't throw the ball more than 30 yards down the field. That's never going to happen. And so it's the same thing here. And again, there is a beauty in the play because, and I would get it if every team was like 100%. I actually wouldn't even get that, I'd be honest with you. Because, again, there's an art to it, and and there were some defenses that did a really good job of defending it against us.
Who else saw Big Dom lurking? It's my guy. Combine.
So Miles, as you guys have all heard me say, he's a huge part of our organization, really good person. He's an awesome player. Understand the trade request and everything, but our stance really has not changed. You know, we can't imagine a situation where not having Miles as a part of the organization is best for the Browns. Understand the frustration. We've had plenty of dialogue, but ultimately my responsibility is to make the decisions that are best for the Browns, and having Miles a part of the organization is a huge piece of that.
We also got swift news out of Kelce camp. According to General Manager Brett Veach, the future first ballot Hall of Fame tight end intends to return next season to play the final year of his contract. With speculation swirling, some clarity offered on Tuesday.
How we left at the end of the season is that he was fired up. He has one more year under contract, and still think he has that fire and desire to play. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no deadline. I think we left it as he'd be back, and we're excited to get him back and get him going.
Kelce's recent numbers do present decline, and the Super Bowl tape is not one he'll be rushing to watch, but the 35-year-old still a massive part of this dynastic run. And for more, we say hello to the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. Mac, always great to be with you. I miss you. Let me just lead with that. Let's start with the posterior prosperity, if you will, the tush push, really at the center of the conversation these last couple days. Both sides sort of crying unfair in the argument. It's nearly unstoppable, this wrinkle, but it's executed within the rules right now. Where do you fall on the matter?
I have an issue, and I'm a former defender, Joe, as you know, but I have an issue with the Green Bay Packers trying to get the tush push banned. I have an issue with that. It's not like it's a cheap element to the Philadelphia Eagles. They're doing everything within the rule books. But the issue for the Green Bay Packers, and oddly enough, remember, they had a chance to see the Tush Push in 2 different games. The first game and, of course, in the playoffs. So they had more than enough experience to see how successful that play is. But the thing about the Philadelphia Eagles, to Coach Nick Sirianni's point, they found a way to execute it. They found the way to be successful in doing so. And the reason that Green Bay and probably some other organizations silently would like to have that play banned is because they've been so good at it. The success rate has really been positive for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the NFL has always been about, Joe, adjusting, right? Adjusting to the new hot theme. That's what you do. That's what makes the game so great to watch. For coaches to find a way to slow down the newest hot thing in the National Football League. Remember years ago, the Wildcat, inserted by the Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots, caught the Patriots off guard, and they had a field day. And they continue to implement that throughout that year. But guess what the league did? They adjust. And now we do not see the Wildcat as much as we did when Miami showed it to the entire league. So that's what you got to do. You got to find a way to stop it. You know what I mean? Because if it was good, if your offense could do it, you wouldn't have an issue. But find a way to master it if you would like to have this be a part of your game plan. So like I said, I'm a former defender. And when I do watch it, sometimes I get annoyed. But you cannot knock the Philadelphia Eagles for finding a nice, small wrinkle. They added to their offense that they have utilized more than none in terms of scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, similar to how the game has become pass happy and the archetype of a desired cornerback has changed. Maybe we see the revert to the big 3 technique or the nose guard type, the Vita Veas making a difference in the interior. You got to find a way. And if not, maybe the league does put their foot down at some point. Let's get on to our next topic here.
No, Joe.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Keep him out of 3rd and short. How about that, first and foremost? Trav is expected to be back for the Chiefs. That we learned on this day as well. Slow to start these last 2 seasons. The easy thing many point to is, let's call it the lifestyle change for the star. I know his brand has grown bigger than the game, but does it feel like folks are sort of talking crazy about a living legend right now? What are your expectations for next season?
Now, number one, hearing that he will return, I'm happy to hear that because I'm a fan of Travis Kelce. He plays the game the right way. And I'm hearing that he's motivated as well. But, Joe, being motivated and being able to display that motivation for the entire length of a season is another different topic. Because to your point, we saw career lows from Travis Kelce in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and average per reception, 8.5. All career lows. And the last time we saw Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl in New Orleans against the Eagles, he looked like he was disinterested. We didn't see the fire. We didn't see the emotions. So it's safe to say Father Time is starting to catch up with number 87. He's 35 and he will turn 36 in this calendar year during the season. So of course, Father Time will catch up to you. But can he give us the Travis-like moments for their offense? Because for them to get back to the promised land, they would need more from number 87 than what they received this season. And I understand. I believe Travis Kelce, he realizes that. And if anything, Joe, he wants to go out with a good, in a good scenario. I think if they would have won this past year in New Orleans, that probably would have been his last hurrah, because what player would not want to go out as a champion? But seeing how things unfolded for them and seeing how he was not a part of their offense, clearly he was want to come back and finish out in a better situation, and most importantly, trying to get back to another sticky Lombardi.
To your point, what he does with this next 3 months is going to be massive in what he does with those following 9.
Yeah. He can't do as much traveling with his old lady and Taylor Swift and, traveling the country. It's time to get in the gym and start that workout regimen a little earlier, Travis.
What I was going to say, stay on that plane, but, the gym can be where you are at that level. We're going to see how committed he is this offseason, what it looks like.
You know good and well, and our viewers know, when you traveling, it's hard to have the same workout regimen that you have when you're at home. It's very, very difficult.
Come on, Mac. I know you're at the Ritz-Carlton when you're here in Stanford, putting in work there at the.
I wish.
Putting in work. All right, let's jump to Cleveland here, because it's an interesting one right now. Andrew Berry's word choice was interesting to me. Can't imagine a situation is not a no to me. That's a GM saying, you're going to have to knock our socks off, is what it certainly sounds like. Like a Luka for AD thing. I know you're locked in on your leg.
Watching years ago, players big-time players, superstars, Joe, they have more power. Going back to Jalen Ramsey when he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he forced his way out of Duval County. Most recently, Tyreek Hill with the Kansas City Chiefs. He forced his way out of Kansas City. So, yes, if you're Cleveland, you don't want to trade him. But if Myles Garrett really wants to be traded, he will be traded. Because now, as I stated, the players, the superstar-like players, they have more power than superstar players did decades ago. So this is going to be intrigued to see how this unfolds. And I'll say this, Joe, Myles Garrett, he holds all the chips. Because if he really wants to be traded, if he told the Cleveland Browns organization, I'm not showing up. I'm not showing up. Cleveland, you don't want to call him bluff. Because one thing we know about Myles Garrett, he's a heck of a player, and he's never been this voiceful in terms of his future. And he has the dividends to be able to sit out if he want to. He's made a lot of money, and he will continue to make more money. So you don't want to call him bluff. So this is all about